The Y&R spoilers recap for Friday, April 22, 2022, brings heartbreaking tasks for Sharon Rosales, but she keeps it together even though her family begs her to open up about her grief. Plus, Adam Newman breaks the terrible news to Chelsea Lawson, and they tell Connor Newman, as Victoria Newman Locke returns to work while Victor Newman lays all the blame at Ashlyn Locke's feet. Y&R spoilers recap highlights Sharon case, called up Celeste Rosales to break the tragic news about Ray Jordi Vilasuso dying in the car crash. Unfortunately, Celeste asked that Sharon agree to bury Ray in Miami, because of course his memorial would be off-screen that way. Sharon felt that Ray should be buried in Genoa City, but she also understood where Celeste was coming from as a mother. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, Faith Newman, Raylan Castor, Noah Newman, Rory Gibson, Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, and Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, were on hand to help Sharon as she made the calls to all the people who needed to hear the sad news. Sharon worried about who would tell Connor, Judah Mackey, but Nick let her know he'd informed Adam, Mark Grossman. Mariah and Tessa mentioned postponing their wedding, but Sharon adamantly insisted that they continue as planned. Sharon shared some positive stories about Ray, and then she decided to go to the morgue to say goodbye to him. The family encouraged Sharon to let her emotions show. They urged her to share her pain with them, but Sharon insisted that she needed to be strong, and she was afraid of never recovering if she let go. Young and the Restless, tragic news. Meanwhile, Adam stopped by Chelsea Lawson's, Melissa Claire Egan, room, and he broke the sad news to her. Chelsea sobbed, and then they made a plan to tell Connor because Adam had kept him home. They told their son, who was understandably sad to hear the news. In an effort to cheer him up, Adam offered ice cream, but Connor was too sad to eat ice cream. Chelsea promised him that they'd do something to honor Ray in the future. After they left, she screamed and ripped up the hockey tickets. Y&R spoilers recap: The Show Must Go On. Victoria, Amelia Hiley, showed up for work because the show must go on. Sure, she had a banged-up forehead and a cane to use for walking, but she's Victoria Newman, and come hell or high water, she's running her company, especially now. Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, seemed stunned to find her daughter there, but Victoria insisted she was fine. Then, Victoria told Nikki what she remembered of the crash, which wasn't all that much. She did know that Ashlyn, Robert Newman, saved her life, but that only made her feel guilty. If she'd never gotten into the car, then Ray never would have died. Nikki insisted it was all a terrible accident, but Victoria didn't see it that way. Later, Victor, Eric Braden, stopped by, and he gently suggested that Adam stay on as temporary CEO for a bit longer, but Victoria wouldn't hear of it. Y&R, it's all your fault. Earlier, Victor showed up at Ashlyn's room none too pleased to see he was still in town. Ashlyn explained how he saved Victoria's life, and Victor did appreciate that, especially given how much grief he'd gotten from the whole Newman family. Just when it seemed as if Ashlyn might be able to redeem himself, Victor also reminded his foe that had Ashlyn not been following Victoria, then the accident never would have happened. Ray's death was entirely Ashlyn's fault, at least in the mustache's mind. Later, Ashlyn called to check on Victoria and informed her that he would leave the next day. She remained mostly cold to him. The Young and the Restless, airs weekdays on CBS. Check your local listings for airtimes. For more about what's coming up in Genoa City, check out all the latest that's been posted on Y&R spoilers, and for an in-depth look at the show's history, click here. Take our poll ad block test. Why?